that you will be recorded and we will be posting this to the website afterwards. So if you have any questions or you had to step out or take a phone call, don't worry, we'll be recording this. I'd like to introduce Christy Tafoya. She's been our contractor to assist with pretty much building out this entire new application. She'll explain a little bit more once we start the slides, and we'll do some introductions. Christy, if you want to start.
There we go.
And I think this one is me. Yes. Okay. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the Aging and Long-Term Services Department Capital Outlay Application Training for FY26. Today we'll be covering vehicles and equipment along with meals and equipment. This will be Christy will be heading the majority of this, and then I'll be following in with a little bit of information throughout. This has been a process. So from the beginning of the trainings until now, we've made little changes as we've gone through and worked on this application for you. So as you know, Aging and Long-Term Services is part of, or the Capital Outlay Bureau is part of Aging and Long-Term Services Department. We're responsible for coordinating the funding and administering the capital projects for senior centers statewide. We work with planning and outreach. We definitely request from senior centers regarding capital needs in this application process. This last year, we had 167 applications. Now I can say this last year because now it's, 2025. I'm still getting used to that. But this last application cycle, we had 167 applicants. Of those, 105 made it to the scoring criteria. And of those, we have submitted those to the legislature that we will hopefully get all of those provided or approved during this legislative session. We also coordinate emergency funding requests for our senior centers, especially for those that falls below the 10,000 threshold, which is for the capital outlay funding. But we've seen many increases in emergency funding post-COVID to help from anywhere from roofs to vehicles to refrigerators and such. So our department is very busy working on getting all of our projects and working with those grantees to administer those funds. Next slide, please. Currently, our staff is growing, so I'm happy to say that there's 4 of us now in the department. Myself as the Capital Bureau Chief, I'm responsible for PSA 1, which is Bernalillo County. Steve Lacey's our newest member. He started in November. He's our Capital Projects Coordinator for PSA 2 and 3. Lori Zuniga is our Capital Projects Coordinator for PSA 4 and all things related to emergency funds. Consuelo Montoya, our Capital Projects Coordinator, is our coordinator for PSA 5 and 6. Our contact information is here, but you can also find it in our website. I'll make sure to post that. So please make sure to bookmark our website. Again, I'll post that in the chat for you. Next slide. I'll hand this over to you, Christy.
Great, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year. Today, we're going to be talking about the new application portal for the Aging and Long-Term Services Department Capital Outlay Bureau, and walk you through some of the steps with regard to the applications. I will provide opportunities for overview information, but I'll also be walking you through what are called question sets, where you actually get to enter your information regarding applications. So we'll be talking about fiscal and facility information, vehicles and equipment, meals and equipment, and provide you, as Tasha said, with some applicant resources and timelines. This one's for you, Tasha.
I remember it's been a while since we've had some trainings. So part of the applications, when we went through, we spoke to grantees to identify what they would need, and with DFA to see what would be a wonderful application to submit. So we want to make sure that planning is involved. We want to make sure that these are broken out into phases. We want to make sure that every project is a success. So we will be requesting that if you're asking for new construction, that planning and design has already been completed. Otherwise, you might be requested to submit for planning and design first. There needs to be a need for immediate action. If we're looking for renovations or code compliance, any of these, we need to see that need. And again, going into safety or code compliance, we now will be asking what type of safety issue or code compliance you will be resolving. There needs to be a need for funding as well as project readiness. This takes us back to our ICIP, sorry, forgot about those letters, our ICIP, to make sure that it's on your top 5. This is just a way to make sure that everybody is talking and is on the same page, to make sure that your fiscal agent, down to your senior center, down to all of the providers, are prepared to provide funding for this project, and as well as the biggest component is the ability to complete the project. We want to make sure that, again, you make it past that finish line and you're able to complete the project with little to no funds being reverted. During this past 8 months, we've seen quite a few projects have to revert, but we've also been working really hard with those providers to see if we can get those down to a minimal amount. Next slide. Is this one me too? Sorry.
Yeah,
So
that's okay.
criteria for selection, we want to make sure that you have a detailed application that's going to be completed. The narration is going to be, the narrative is a huge component of this. Lori will go into the point system during her presentation, but we need a well-detailed application that clearly shows a need for completion or for funding. So we need to have complete information regarding the applicant, the facility owners, and of course funding history, a strong project narrative with clear details. We want to be able to visualize what this project is going to look like, so the more information you can give us, the better. Again, going back to that project plan, showing that you have a plan for this. I know a lot of smaller entities may have one person that's doing multiple roles. So just making sure somebody is going to be following through on the grant, contractors, submitting requests for payments, make sure that all of that will be taken care of and considered, as well as timeliness for completion and ability to complete the project. We will be looking at past history to see how you did with prior projects, but that is not definitive and won't take away from you if you've had some issues in the past. And then, of course, we will need to see those quotes and the required documents. There are quite a few, but we've created a checklist to be able to help you get prepared for this application cycle. Thank you, Christy.
Sure, thank you. So we have 5 different categories of application types, and a few of these have been kind of collapsed and a few broken out. Tasha and her team have done a good job of taking in input and kind of creating a little bit of a new process. So the first 3 you'll see there: planning and design, new construction, code compliance, renovation, and addition. Those 3 we will be talking about tomorrow. But today we're going to be talking about vehicles and equipment and meals and equipment. So if we're talking about vehicles and equipment today, we're really talking about transportation to your senior facilities for people or for goods and equipment. There are lots of different types of vehicles that are important to your senior facility. And so you'll see a few of those examples listed: minivans, passenger vans, and vehicles. And then, in terms of equipment that goes with vehicles, you can think about things like meal delivery. The other category that we'll be talking about today is meals and equipment, and of course the equipment to prepare, store food, as well as equipment for your senior center, for your senior folks to come and be able to use, like, physical fitness equipment or other types of equipment that are going to be very important for the smooth operation of your facility. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a transition for the application process that's happening this year. And in fact, in 2 days, on Wednesday, January 8th, this new application process will be open to you. This is through an application called Bonfire, and the Aging and Long-Term Services Department has been working through this process with Bonfire for quite a while now. It's a software platform that is designed to make it easier in terms of contracts and requests for proposals, but also for you, for your applications for senior facilities. It's intended also to help the evaluators have a little bit of an easier time in evaluating all of your great applications. So again, this will be opening up in a couple of days, and you will have quite a while to be able to access the Bonfire system and to upload your applications. So these trainings are intended to help you with that and provide you with good resources and good information. Things that will change is the application process. You will access the new system and you will need to sign up. Many of you already have signed up as vendors within the system. It's a way for you to become the senior facility in the Bonfire system with Aging and Long-Term Services. The other nice thing about this application process is it's streamlined, and you will have notification of completeness immediately as you're walking through the process. And I'll show you kind of some of what that looks like today. But Tasha and her team also did a really good job of streamlining things. And Tasha, do you want to share some of your steps in that regard?
Yes, so again, reviewing the previous applications, we identified where we could take out some questions. Specifically, we took out asking what your utility bills were. We've also taken out the subject matter expert form. We know that one is really difficult to get completed and can go by the quotes and the estimates provided or plans and designs provided by the whatever architecture firm or construction agency. So we've taken those out, but we've also added a few things. One of them is going to be deferred maintenance. We will want to see proof that deferred maintenance is a line item in your budget to be prepared for those ongoing maintenance for either, whether it's going to be, for this case, it's going to be vehicles or meals and equipment. We've also streamlined the evaluation process. We really hope that we will be able to get things scored quickly. Also with that, I want you to know in this last application process and ongoing, our team will always be reaching out. If there's an incomplete file or if there's an incorrect form, just know that our staff will be reaching out to make contact to make sure we get that corrected. So that way your application can get to the staging to the next level, which is scoring. We're not going to leave anybody behind, but we want to make sure that applications are complete. So know that you will be getting phone calls, emails from us to ensure that you have a complete application. Also, like Christy mentioned, when you finish your application, you will get notification that you submitted you completed the application. You will receive that immediately. I know sometimes it seemed with the older process that you weren't sure if you completed one, and sometimes multiple projects. We're hoping this will end that process, and you will get to see that your application was in fact completed, and you don't have to submit multiple times. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you. To go along with this whole process, one of the big resources that we've been working on is an application manual. This manual will provide step-by-step instructions for becoming a vendor into the system, screenshots of the actual pages that you will see, and steps as to what buttons you push and what information you fill in, how you save and download and upload information into Bonfire. And resources for more information. In addition, I'm creating some videos that walk through each one of these steps that will be in addition to these recorded trainings, in-person training sessions. So there should be a lot that's there for you to help you through this new change. So as I said a little earlier as well, we're going to be talking about applicant and facility information, which will be required for each of the application types. We need to know who you are and what your facility is. And then today we'll talk about vehicles and equipment and meals and equipment. At any point, if you have a question, please feel free to throw something into the chat or raise your hand. And I see Jack has a couple of questions too, so we can take a look at that. He asked if he completed the Bonfire process, but can it be updated as it becomes necessary? So I think we need to maybe know a little bit more about what that means from you, Jack, in terms of number one.
Do you mean if you can stop and start the process?
No, what I mean is like there could be multiple people involved in this besides myself. So I might have our lead maintenance person, facilities maintenance people. I could have the people from finance who take care of my ICIP. Just multiple people who would probably be a benefit to me if they had access to it. And the possibility always, of course, I'm nearing retirement time, that somebody else may take over.
So on that first part, yes, as many, they can add themselves as vendors. That's not a problem at all. But for them to view your application, they will not be able to have access to your application that I'm aware of. But that's a really good question that we can reach out to our staff person at Bonfire. So if you were to start an application, somebody in finance might not be able to unless we create you as a team. So let me get some more information from there, and then we can have that listed on a fax page on our website, on our webpage.
Yeah, that team
Yeah.
approach would be ideal.
Yes, that's a
Right.
really good question. So we'll make sure to bring it up, and then we can get an answer, and we'll post that on the website under fax.
Very
Yes,
good.
yeah. I think that's a great question, Jack. And I think the other thing to think about is maybe making sure you have a team that works together on this. And if you have maybe a couple of people that are kind of your core members so that you have control over the information that's being input, that would probably be another good suggestion. And then
That
you
team
asked
is in
about
place. Thank you.
yeah, and then you asked about HVAC, and actually, if you have renovations to things that are of that nature, that would probably go under renovation, and that we will be talking about tomorrow. That's one of the
Okay.
application types for tomorrow,
All
okay?
right. And that would be for replacement also under
Mm-hmm.
renovation.
You
Okay.
bet.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you for those good questions. Okay, so to start your whole application process, you need to log into Bonfire. So when you register as a vendor, you bring in your email address and remember what your password is and log in. You will be able to then see all the different project types. And just note that you need to be aware of the county that your facility is in. That is going to be where your facility is listed. We will have 33 different project types that will appear as open. And you can see with this particular example, this is an open test for Bernalillo County. You can see what the project details are. You can see that it says Bernalillo County. And that's, if you need to figure out which one of those counties is applicable to you. You'll see the reference information. You'll see that it's Department of Capital Outlay Bureau. That's what that would be listed under. The RFA is request for applications. The status is open. This is a test, so this was an old one. And you'll see that when it's closed, how many days are left, and you see the calendar. So it's important when you look through this that you review the project details and ensure that you have selected the correct county. You will then have an opportunity to download application question sets. So question sets will be listed as you scroll down that first page under supporting documentation, and you'll see these different Excel spreadsheets. We'll be talking today about the fiscal and facility information question set that I mentioned is going to be applicable to all of these because we need to know who you are. And then you'll see the other ones listed: meals and equipment, new construction, planning, Reno code compliance edition question set. Jack, that's the one where HVAC will fall under. And then vehicles and equipment. And what you'll want to do is download the applicable question sets that you are interested in for your facility. So what you would do is you would download, first of all, the fiscal and facility information question set that I'll run through for you. And then if we're doing meals and equipment and vehicles and equipment, you want to download those. Okay, so you click the download button. When you do that, you click on these download buttons, you'll notice at the top right-hand corner of your page, that you can download. You see the little download arrow? You'll click on your little download arrow, and then you'll be able to open your spreadsheet and save it. You'll be able to enable editing and save it. And when you save it, you want to probably set a folder for all of your question sets that are related to your application. And you will need to find it in an easy way. You'll need to include the name of the type of application that you're interested in and your senior center name as part of that, and save it. Okay. Then as you scroll down a little bit further, you will be able to select your facility and the type of application that you're interested in. So you'll have little boxes next to the facility that are open, as you can see these here. You'll click on them, the ones that you're interested in, and you'll see that a little arrow that's backed in blue will be highlighted there. So for an example, for LS Senior Center, I wanted all of them. So I clicked on meals and equipment, new construction, all of those. I'm interested in those. Okay. So then you click on upload your files. I want to share with you that you won't lose your information. There's a thing called work in progress that kind of automatically saves what you're working on. So if you have to step away from what you're working on, you will be able to click on the work in progress submission and be able to pick back up by clicking on actions and edit whatever you were working on that you walked away from. So that's a good thing. You can come and go and not have to worry. The thing I will say though is that you do need to save your question sets. Save those because you're going to put work into those. Okay. Applicant and facility requested information will be requested of every senior facility. You will need to provide this required information as to the name, your address, your e-signature or letter memo, your email, your ICIP. History is actually going to be optional for you. So you'll need to ensure that you have that as an option, as well as the question set for fiscal and facility information. So that's the basic requested information from you that you will be asked of. This is what some of this will look like as you go into step 2, where you provide your submission information, your name, your title, your address, and you'll notice that there's a red dot next to each one of the ones that are required. You will need to enter your information and click on save, and that will turn things green. When you're green, you're good to go. So you will need to complete check boxes and remember to save each section for the requested information. So now I'm going to show you a little bit of information on filling out the fiscal and facility information question set.
Yes,
that you
Christy, we
downloaded.
had one from Asusena. She had a question. Can we submit a project for each category, or is there a limit of projects that we can submit? No,
And yes,
there's no limit.
Can. you can submit projects for each category. Okay.
Christy's worked really hard to make that available to everyone.
Great. Looks like we have another question coming in as well. You're welcome. Okay, fiscal and facility information. So this is the question set. You can see these are the instructions that I'm showing you right here. Please read all of the instructions about how to do this. This is in your downloaded question set for fiscal and facility information. You see these tabs on the bottom. You want to go to tab number 1, and this is about your fiscal certification. And this is the basic information about the fiscal certification of your facility. So you see question 1, is the current budget filed with the state auditor? You can say yes or no and explain in the comment box. You notice when I did this drop down and said yes, status turned green for complete. So you'll have a series of questions to answer. Is it approved by DFA? Yes or no? Yes and explain. It's approved. When was it approved? The information about that. Explain your answer about operating if you have more information that you need to share with regard to that. Have you submitted financial quarterly reports on CPMS, which that's really important that your entity has done that? Your ICIP number for your project. So your entity needs to complete an ICIP and upload that information. That's one of the uploads that you will see as we go a little bit further. We have a little bit of information here about certification and fiscal agents. Tasha, do you want to explain the difference between those two?
Yes, so when we're talking about fiscal agents, I apologize, I lost my part on the screen and my screen disappeared. So when we're looking at the certification title, we're looking at the person who can sign contracts. Some financial officers are provided that authority. Otherwise, we are looking for someone who can sign into contracts. The second one is going to be the fiscal agent. We want to know the difference between who's going to be following up with requests for payments or any grant information. So we want to make sure that we're getting in contact with that right individual. We're noticing as we go through as we've been going through projects that we have older lists or people who have transferred to other positions. So we just want to make sure that we're going to have the most up-to-date contact information for the certifying official, the fiscal agents, as well as the finance officer. That way we are keeping everybody in the loop. So if you ever receive an email and you see everybody copied, we just want to make sure that everybody is on the same page when it comes to a project. So we have added this information questions on this question set. Thank you, Christy.
Thanks. So as Tasha was sharing that, I was filling out the information that you could see and move and kind of go along with me. So your certifier, their title, your fiscal agent, their title, the entity, all of that good information. And you can see the green on the right, I'm complete. And I filled out all 16 questions in terms of fiscal certification. Do you have any questions about the fiscal certification information? Fabulous. We will go to facility information, which is question set number 2 under this little tab number 2. At this juncture, you need to just share what your facility name is, your contact name, your phone, your email, your website, your ownership. If you're managed by a nonprofit, is an agreement in place? You can see this is a drop down. What sources of funding were used to construct or improve the facility within the last 5 years? This is important information. As Tasha mentioned a little bit earlier too, it's really important to know what funding has come in and how has that been expended in the past? What repairs were made in the past? The size of your facility, and is it sufficient in size, yes or no? Is the location easily accessible, yes or no? Is it a multi-purpose intergenerational center? Share information about that. Sorry, this was a drop down. The history, if you want to share your history here under the response section, and you can also move over into the comments section if you have more information. And again, this is an optional upload for you with regard to the history. What's your condition? What's the condition of the facility? How many seniors attend the facility daily on average? Does the local government help you and provide operating staff? List other sources of funding. Do you have AAA money? Do you have local in-kind grant funding, other? And please describe your interface with tribes or pueblos, if that's applicable to you. Have you met with your local procurement representative to plan this out? That's important. You want to make sure that you have a procurement representative that knows how to handle the funding if it comes your way. Do you have a project manager? I think that's also really critical. You need to have somebody in charge of that. And is your staff aware of quarterly reporting to the capital CPMS system, and that's a requirement. So you can see I've completed all of these segments. It's all green. I'll double check, and yes, we're complete, no errors, 100%, 38 questions, and we should be all good. At this point, I would save it. I'm not going to save it right now because this is just an example for you, but you save your question set and you will be uploading all of this information. So let me start from here. There's your summary, and then you'll upload that information. Okay. Any questions at this point? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about vehicles and equipment. I'll walk you through those types of applications as well. Vehicle and equipment question sets and uploads. You need to review your upload requirements. And again, these are all red that are required. And if you have a yellow dot, you'll see that that's optional. So what you will need to be uploading for vehicles and equipment question sets include the vehicles and equipment question set that I'll walk you through, quotes or cost estimates related to project oversight, and you'll be uploading that file. Applicable quotes, cost estimates for the purchase, you need to upload that. You need to have documentation that there's budget commitment for ongoing maintenance and repair. You need to upload that information. And if you have any other additional documents, you can upload those as well. So at this point, let me walk you through vehicles and equipment. So again, much like what we just saw for the fiscal and facility information, this is the vehicles and equipment question set. You have instructions to review, and then there's only one question set with regard to vehicles and equipment. Please note that each one of these different types of question sets will have scoring associated with it. The biggest score that you need to be aware of is question number 1, which is your project summary and narrative. You need to describe why you need vehicles and vehicle equipment, how these vehicles will be important to the good operation of your senior facility, and provide kind of that overview information. You need to make your strongest case here, and you'll be doing it here in this comment column. And you need to provide all of the information that you think makes for a very strong application. You can put your paragraph down. When you start a new line, use Alt and Enter, and that will allow you to start a new paragraph. Okay, so that is super, super important, worth 50 points. Okay. Does this project address health, safety, risk, or hazard to the public? That's really, really critical. So if you have vehicles that aren't working and you really need to have good operational vehicles, this is your opportunity to say that. That's worth 10 points. Is your project ready to proceed? Yes, explain. Scoring of 10 points. You need to share in the comment box why that's important. How many vehicles and types are you interested in? So you indicate that there. Are you adding new vehicles into the inventory? Yes, and explain in the comment box. Okay. Previous request, did you ask for previous funding for vehicles in the past? And if so, were you granted the funding and what happened there? So you need to talk a little bit about that. You'll also see this question in several of our applications. Have you met with your local elected official to plan for this project? This is important to consider with this application because these applications will eventually go to the legislature, and it's good to talk to your local legislators or your mayor or your local elected officials to get them on board with the project that you're proposing so that you can at least see if they can help you with the funding. The requested funds, will they complete the vehicle purchase? And so you need to share that information. And then this is where you get the opportunity to talk about the project cost. What's the amount of your request? What's the vehicle amount? You know, so you have the overview of the total cost. Then the breakdown of things of like equipment, installation, delivery. You need to think about annual maintenance. That's another important piece. You want to make sure that you can take care of this vehicle if you do, if you're able to acquire it. And that you can provide that ongoing maintenance and repair. Did you upload the documentation that there is budget for ongoing maintenance and repair? And did you upload, this is one of the uploads, the applicable quotes and cost estimates, and any other optional additional documents? So you see, I'm all green. Green is good, right? And then if I click on the summary, you can see I'm 100% all good, no errors, okay? Again, you will want to save your question set. I'm not going to do that for today. And you will need to be including that as part of your uploads. So you can see here are our uploads, and the question set that I just completed, you'll want to upload that file right here, as well as your quotes, cost estimates, etc. Okay. Any questions on vehicles and equipment? Great. Oh, I will mention, when you complete all of your uploads, you are green. Green is good. So you can see everything's been uploaded. And congratulations, you have completed the vehicles and equipment application. All right. Now we'll talk a little bit about meals and equipment. Very similar process that you undergo. Meals and equipment has fewer uploads that are required of you. You can see that these are red, means they're required, and you need to provide uploads of the meals and equipment question set, as well as your quotes and cost estimates and additional documents. Okay. So let's take a look at what the meals and equipment question set looks like. Please review the instructions that are under the instructions tab and click on question set 1. Again, question 1, 50 points, project narrative. You need to explain why you need, what kind of equipment you need, why you need it, what the urgency is, and provide all of that in this comment column. You'll have plenty of room. And again, you can use Alt plus Enter to start a new line. Make a compelling argument. Explain all of the things that you feel that this will help you accomplish as a senior center. That will be really critical. Question 2 is your fiscal agency prepared to provide ongoing maintenance and repair once you obtain this meals equipment? Did you upload that there is budget commitment for ongoing maintenance and repair? Do the requested funds complete the project, yes or no? And then again, you have the opportunity to explain how much you need. What's the total project cost? How much are you requesting? And that's scoring of 10 points. What's the equipment amounts, installation, and delivery? Are the requested funds sufficient to complete? Did you request some previous funds in the past? And how much did you request? And how did that work out? Were you able to purchase what you needed? And how does that play into this application? Again, have you met with your elected official and explained to them that you need this and what this is going to do to help the seniors in your county? Are there measures for energy reduction and or energy sustainability? And did you upload the applicable quotes and cost estimates and additional documents? Okay. All green. Green is good. Oh, not all green. Explain in the comment box. Are you able to provide ongoing maintenance? Okay. So I did put that in there. So yes, now we are green is good. Click on the summary and you'll see you're 100% complete. And then you will save and move forward. Once you have completed your uploads, you will all be green. Green is good. And congratulations, you've completed the meals and equipment application. Then you will be submitting and finalizing your total application packet. You must then complete step 3 to submit and finalize. You will need to click that you understand that you can't change any of the submission details once the project closes, and you'll click on Submit and Finalize My Submission. Once you do that, you will receive this submission receipt in Bonfire that says, "Hooray, your submission is complete." And you will get the confirmation details with regard to your project. And you will also receive a confirmation email that will indicate that you have a complete project that has been submitted, the whole application packet. So there you have it, that you have a complete packet. And we have a few timelines to share with you with regard to this brand new year and our new deadlines. So Tasha, you want to share some information on that?
As soon as I find my unmute button. Yes, so we've started online training, so we've had multiple weeks of this. So we'll have this week and next for the final training. Again, if you were unable to attend, you can find these on the webpage. I did put that link in the chat. Application opens this Wednesday. We're very excited. We can take a deep breath from this. So again, very excited about this. The application will close 3 months later, April 8th, 2025 at midnight. So you do have until midnight to get that application in. We hope that we don't have those applicants waiting until the last minute. Make sure you start early, you gather your information. As Christy mentioned, there is a manual in that. There's really great information. So I highly recommend that you read through it, look at the checklist, start gathering your quotes and your information before you apply. But know that the application does close April 8th. The committee will start reviewing and making recommendations, and then those recommendations will go through June 30th to go to the cabinet secretary. Again, as we're in that committee review and recommendation of application, please remember that if your application is considered incomplete, our staff, someone from our staff, will be reaching out to make contact to try and get the application completed so it can move forward to the scoring. We want to get as many applications in, but we also want to make sure that those applications are good and show as phased and are going to be identified as being able to complete. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you. And we have had a number of these trainings in the past, and we will still have a few more. We have one tomorrow at 1:30 for planning and design, new construction, and Reno Code Compliance Edition, and then we'll have a couple more on the 14th and the 15th. And all of these will be recorded and uploaded, particularly because there are questions that transpire. So you might want to pop in and see kind of what some of the questions have been. And then, of course, you have your website for resources. So you might want to take a screenshot of this information.
This is the link I put in the chat, but also make sure on that web page you'll see that we offer every Wednesday, we have office hours, technical assistance from 3 to 4:30. So please make sure if you have questions, you can come and join us at that time and ask any questions. We're here to assist and make sure that you're moving forward on your application or applications, and want to make sure you feel confident and comfortable with the new process. We'll also be reaching out to see what you think of the new process. Of course, we can always improve and want to make sure that we're providing the best opportunity for you and your seniors for capital outlay funding. Any other things, Christy?
Not today. If folks don't have any questions, Happy New Year, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for your time. Again, green is good when it comes to this application.
That's
And
good.
we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us and yeah, be on the lookout. And also at the end, when you complete your applications, know that I'm secretly throwing confetti to show that you can complete it, because we do know that this is a huge process that you're undertaking, but we appreciate the hard work that you put into your senior centers. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.